जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna, we will be reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangostva karmani. So, Krishna is saying, O Arjuna, karmani eva adhikaraha. You have adhikara, means you have a right to perform your prescribed duty. Adhikara means you have a right. You got adhikara to perform your prescribed duty. So, but ma phaleshu kadachana. So you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but ma phaleshu kadachana means you cannot take any result you get out of it. So let's say, for example, karmani means your prescribed duty. So you have a right to do your duty. So if you are a student, for example, so what is your duty? The student's duty is to study, to get good marks, good grades. The phala is the grades that he gets, isn't it? So there is karmani, by which he does his duty of studying, and the phala means the grades that he gets. So, karmani eva adhikara, you have a right to study or do your prescribed duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. So Krishna is saying you are not entitled to the fruits of action, ma phaleshu, which is, so what does it mean by this? Does it mean you study without bothering about the grades? Karmanyeva, I have studied. Krishna is saying ma phaleshu kadachana, don't worry about the grades. Then you can tell your parents, the students will tell the parents, oh, the Bhagavad Gita is itself saying this. I don't care for my grades, so don't bother me to study. So somebody might say, we have to do the duty of studying well, but we don't care about the result. So if you actually don't study with keeping grade in mind, so how can you say that you have done the duty of studying? That's the first question, isn't it? Say you're studying, you've done your duty. So what does it mean by doing the duty? Doing the duty means there has to be a goal for which you study, isn't it? Without goal, can you do your duty? The duty of the duty of the employee is to produce this product. If you don't produce the product, have you done your duty? So everything, the duty that we do has to have a goal. So we have to have the goal with which we do our duty. Only then the duty makes sense. So when Krishna says karmanyevadhikaraha ma phaleshu kadachana, he is not saying don't have a goal or don't produce any result. Bhagavad Gita is saying that you have the goal, you do your duty towards achieving that goal, which means you produce the result. What Krishna is saying is, don't enjoy that result. Krishna is not saying don't produce the result. That's one important thing people miss when they read this verse. Just do your duty and forget. No. Have proper goal, do your duty, produce the result. But ma phaleshu kadachana means don't enjoy the result. So what does it mean? If you are producing the result, who will enjoy if you don't enjoy? The enjoyment should be given to Krishna because you are working for Krishna's goal. That is the motive, not your own goal. If you work for your own goal, whatever you do, you have to be responsible. If you work for Krishna's goal, whatever you do, Krishna will be responsible. So there won't be any effects, karmic effects, either good or bad. So this is the importance of this verse. So actually, if even sometimes these Mayavadis are, one time I was trying to distribute books door to door. So I knocked one door and he said, the person who was in the house, oh, I already know Bhagavad Gita, Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. So he told the first line of the shloka. So that means he says, oh, you just do your duty, enjoy your work, and work is worship, all these kind of things they say, but they conveniently forget the second, third, and fourth lines. So Krishna is saying, it's not just about doing your duty, it is ma phaleshu kadachana means you should not be taking the result or enjoying the result. If you enjoy the result, what will happen? Karma phala hetuhu. You will have to bear the reaction for that enjoyment. All the bad and good that comes out of it. So that is why Krishna is saying, Ma karma phala hetuhu. Don't become responsible for your karma phala hetu. You will have to bear the reactions for it. At the same time, should I not do my duty? Why all this complication? No. Mate sangohastu akarmani. The fourth line says, don't be attached to not doing your duty also. So Arjuna basically is trying to escape from doing his duty. That is inaction. Akarmani. Krishna is saying, don't be attached. That is also your attachment. If Arjuna says, oh, I am detached from this worldly enjoyment. No, you are attached to a peaceful life. You don't want a complicated life. That is also your attachment. Either you are attached to doing your duty or not attached to doing your duty. You are attached to something for your own sense gratification. And for that, you have to pay the reaction. So don't be attached to not doing your duty. It's very easy to say, I don't want to take this up. It's very difficult. People will think bad about me. It's very difficult to do the duty, which is very difficult for you. People may think bad about you. But if you do it for Krishna, let Krishna enjoy the result. Even if people think I am bad, let Krishna enjoy the result. That is the right mentality. Work hard for Krishna. Have the goal. Achieve that goal for Krishna. But don't enjoy for yourself. The typical karmis, the regular, in the material world, everybody is working hard to produce the result for themselves. That is why there is so much of motivation. Like typically people, they compare between this private sector and government, isn't it? If you give it some operations to a private company, the operations will bloom. Why? Simple reason. The reason is that they are motivated by the profit. They are motivated by the stock price. Unless they show profit, their company cannot sustain, cannot make profits. The managers, the leadership, they cannot get promotions. They cannot get money. So there so much is at stake. So they work so hard. Say, whereas in government office, I get my salary. It doesn't matter whether the result is coming or not. I let me do my duty. Go at 9 o'clock in the morning. I come back at 5. It's okay if this customer is not satisfied, or if we don't do this, I get my salary. That is why people prefer private organizations to run something, because they care about the result. They care about the customer satisfaction. They care about the quality. Because there is goal in mind, there is result, profit in mind, then the activity will be done properly. So all Bhagavad Gita is saying is that you do all of that, you work hard, but the goal should be Krishna, not for your personal sense gratification. The goal should be Krishna. It's very easy to understand. Sometimes we work very hard for our own son or daughter, even sacrificing so many things, our own happiness. Why? Because they are our blood relation. We love them. We want them to be happy. Isn't it? We work so hard to get them something. So likewise, when you love Krishna, then you work so hard for Krishna. Do your duty for Krishna, and the result is for Krishna. For Krishna only you are working. Just like for your son or a daughter, or your father or mother, or your close loved one, you're working so hard to produce the result for them, not for your enjoyment, for their enjoyment. So we just have to transfer that love to Krishna. Now we are loving our loved ones in this material world. In the next life, they may not be our loved ones. They will not be our loved ones. So this is temporary affection. And for temporary affection, we are working hard and giving the result for their enjoyment. It is nothing but extended sense gratification for which you have to pay the consequences. But if you make Krishna your loved one, then you don't have to pay for any consequence. Rather, you are getting purified by that work. Actually, our real self is Krishna. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. Who are you? We say, oh, I am this particular XYZ. I am a software engineer. I am Indian. I am a black. I am white. We keep saying all of this, but actually I am servant of Krishna. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am Krishna in one sense, not like an impersonal sense. Impersonalists say, I am also God. I am God in the sense that I am part and parcel of God, therefore I cannot be separated from God. So my real pleasure is giving pleasure to Krishna. Just like the real pleasure for my finger or for my any bodily part is to give pleasure to the stomach. When the stomach is happy, my whole body is happy. So when you work and give pleasure to Krishna, you will become happy. One time there was this great king Akbar. We know Akbar. He visited this holy place, one holy place where people were worshipping Krishna. And so he was mesmerized by one poet, one singer. He was singing so exquisitely the kirtan for Krishna, the songs. And later he went and approached, hey, why don't you come and sing for in my courtyard, in my court, and I will honor you with unlimited opulences. Why do you want to stay in this poor place where you are not even noticed? So why don't you come and sing for me? And so this devotee singer, the famous singer, he said, see, when I am singing for Krishna, my motivation is I am pleasing the Supreme Lord, the biggest master of everything, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can you provide me motivation which can beat that motivation? I'm motivated to sing with quality, to sing with all heart and soul. I'm getting pleasure because I am satisfying Krishna, the Supreme Lord. You cannot match my motivation. You are, after all, one small controller of one small kingdom in this unlimited creation. And then Akbar understood the secret behind how this person has become so enthused to sing, even though there is no material return for him, because the spiritual return is there. He is singing motivated to please the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is the biggest ever motivation. He's doing for God. So the other aspect to on this verse is that, let's say we have different talents, like I was talking about the singer, or we may be a writer, author, or a player, or we may be having some talent in some field. So if we are gifted with the ability to do anything creative, just exercising and expressing the talent can give us fulfillment, provided we don't let ourselves be consumed by the expectation of worldly recognition, isn't it? If we become consumed by worldly recognition, then we won't get the same satisfaction. The heart won't get pleasure. We want to express without being bound by the recognition. If we work for recognition, our real happiness won't come. So that means the world may not provide us a podium or may not give us recognition, but we can still express our abilities. That's what this verse says. You have ability, all of you have ability. Express your ability for the Lord. Don't hanker for any recognition from people, either in terms of monetary recognition, monetary result, or some praise. This is all material. Whatever talent we have, whatever ability we have, whatever skill we have, where we have or don't have, whether we recognize or not, do it for Krishna. Don't expect some result from people, either in terms of praise, claps, recognition, rewards, money. Then your natural engagement will be hampered. And that's what this verse is saying. Maphaleshu kadachana. Don't look for material result from that activity, material recognition from that activity. So, coming back to that setting goal, we talked about the student setting goal and doing his duty of studying. The classic example is given in Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata itself. So, for example, Arjuna, the student of Bhagavad Gita, he set goals regularly. Most famously, during Kurukshetra war, he has set a goal to kill Jayadratha before the sunset on the 14th day. Isn't it? Because Jayadratha was one of the responsible persons for the conspiracy to kill Abhimanyu. So he took a goal, I will kill Jayadratha before sunset on the 14th day. So, and Krishna actively assisted Arjuna in achieving that goal. Which means, see, Krishna only taught Bhagavad Gita before that, isn't it? And Arjuna also heard Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna was fighting in the battle. He's setting the goal. And Krishna is also helping him achieve that goal. Which means this conveys that Krishna didn't consider goal setting as contrary to his teaching of detachment. So people should note that. So goal setting is not contrary to the principle of detachment. Any spiritual teaching, they talk about detachment, being freed from anything material. Like Prabhupada says, Arjuna's getting bewildered and taking up sannyasa or going to the forest is other side of attachment. So your detachment from something is nothing but you're attached to something else. You are attached to a peaceful life. So that's what I've been saying from the beginning. So we should have a goal, but that goal should be for Krishna's pleasure. So there is importance of goal setting. Like Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he came with a goal to serve his spiritual master. He didn't say, okay, let me do my duty and I'll go back, whatever comes. No. And in one instance, in a particular instance, there was this episode of publishing this books called Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there is this one of the literature that we have in our movement is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Prabhupada had been writing that Chaitanya Charitamrita, but the manuscripts that he produced, staying up late night and producing these manuscripts, they were just lying there. And Prabhupada became very dissatisfied that the devotees were not taking it seriously, printing that book. So Prabhupada had flown to Los Angeles, and one morning walk, they were all going very tense on the beach. And he was discussing how important it was to publish these books and how upset he was that the manuscripts were lying there. And then he was demanding them to be published right away. And then he asked how long it will take to print, to publish these books. And so this devotee, Radha Vallabh Prabhu from New York, he had been the production manager. And so he pulled some devotees back and they discussed how long it will take for these books to send to the printer, and all these calculations they were doing, they were getting together and they thought they did good calculations. And so they all went back to Prabhupada to catch up with Prabhupada, and then told Prabhupada, we think we can do one book every 2 months. So there were 17 books. Chaitanya Charitamrita had 17 volumes, 17 books. So they said, Prabhupada, we can publish one book every 2 months. And so Prabhupada turned around and said, I want all 17 books to be done in 2 months. And then the devotee, he blurted out, Prabhupada, that's impossible. And then Prabhupada, he stopped walking at that time. He planted his cane in the sand and he turned around and said, impossible is a word in Fool's Dictionary. Impossible is a word in Fool's Dictionary. And there was complete silence. They were all stunned. And so, see, Prabhupada, he was setting this goal, very, very ambitious goal, very lofty goal. And it seemed to defy the physical laws, the physical possibilities. And then they had faith in Prabhupada's words. It's coming from Prabhupada, the spiritual master. That means it's Krishna's order. It may defy our intelligence. So they agreed finally. And then, miraculously, different ideas came, different parallel production lines happened, 24-hour production lines happened, 2 or 3 shifts. They recruited devotees from all over the world to help with this. And the artists were working day and night. And everything was happening. And suddenly they saw that things were going on. And so they did it. The 17 books were published. And miraculously, the last book came probably on the last day of the 2-month cycle. So, this is how Prabhupada drove the movement. He would urge the devotees, distribute books, double it, print the books, double your scores. So, like that, we have to be motivated to serve Krishna, not like an impersonalist where we just sit calm and be detached. No, we are active movement. We should be motivated by love of Krishna, not motivated by the result, mind you. You should always remember, we are not motivated to enjoy the result for myself. Whether I get good result or bad result, we sometimes become elated, sometimes become morose. Like in other example, Prabhupada, he was conducting a session. Not Prabhupada, actually the devotees were conducting a session, and uh, they didn't get many people, so they were becoming morose. Actually, they were not making many life members. Life member is you pay some money in India and then you become a life member. You get some books and you get some number of days stay in the temple, guest house, and all that. So they were hardly making life members, and so they became very morose and came to Prabhupada and said. So Prabhupada said, "You are too attached to the result. So you are thinking of enjoying that result, not doing your duty properly as a result. That is spoiling your mentality of doing your duty enthusiastically. So you are thinking of taking the money and using it for some purpose. You have to understand that simply it's not about any amount of money. You do the service for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna will judge and Krishna will decide." So he gave the example. His Guru Maharaj one time told him that even if there is not many people, we can preach to the wall. That doesn't matter. Sometimes we get motivated to preach only when there are people. No, my motivation is Krishna should be glorified. When that is my motivation, the result doesn't matter in terms of my pleasure. Oh, I'll be very pleasurable when a lot of people come to hear. No, my pleasure should be Krishna should be glorified. Okay, it's okay if people don't come. So when Krishna is in the forefront, when Krishna is in the center, I work nicely, I work with motivation, I produce the result, I dedicate the result to Krishna, and I don't run away from not doing the duty, difficult duties. So this is the message of Bhagavad Gita. I'll stop this here. Anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself. Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.